Hello, my friend. Welcome to your sleep story. My name is Stephen Dalton. I'm an Irish storyteller, and it's my great privilege to be the voice that you listen to as you go to sleep tonight. Tonight's story is one that was inspired by a cozy farming game called Fields of Mystria, and it was written by my niece, Megan Moore. It's a heartwarming and cozy tale where you will arrive in a distant land and find yourself meeting all kinds of very kind people who will introduce you to their world, a safe and beautiful place. I really hope you like it. Okay, let's do the relaxation session now, which will take a few minutes before tonight's sleep story. I'm going to count down from 10 to 1, and as I do, allow yourself to let go more and more. 10. Feel the support of the bed beneath you, or the floor, or whatever you lie upon tonight. But beneath all of that, feel the earth that is always supporting you, always there for you. Our home. And as you become aware of that constant support, see if it allows you to let go a little bit more now, to ease into this moment a little bit more now. 9. You are safe. You are okay. And in this feeling of safety, in this place of comfort, allow my voice to be an anchor of safety tonight. Know that my voice will only ever take you to safe places, to safe destinations, to a safe refuge of deep sleep. 8. Feel into your body now. Just notice anything. That's all you need to do. Maybe it's a tingling. Maybe it's a slight pain. Whatever it is, just notice. Maybe it's in your feet. Maybe in your legs. Maybe your belly. Your chest. Or your face. And as you notice whatever you notice, See if you're holding anywhere. And if you are, just let go a little bit more now. Seven. The day is done. Whatever has been, has been. Whatever will be, will be. But right now, in this moment, you don't need to think about the past or the future. Allow yourself the luxury of embracing this very moment. And of course, thoughts will arrive. And as they do, don't fight them. Know that they are a part of being a human being. Just see them for what they are. Thoughts. And watch them go like leaves on a moonlit river, or clouds passing in a starlit sky. Six. This is your time. This is your moment. Nobody else's. We are best when we give ourselves time, when we allow peace to be a part of our experience of life. So allow yourself to let go, to be kind to yourself, to know that you deserve this moment and this opportunity of rest. 5. Peace lives within you. It's just waiting to be found. See if you can find it tonight. And if you do, where does it live? In your heart? In your head? Have a look for it and notice if you can sense it. 4. Perhaps allow a little gratitude now. Gratitude for the simple things, the shelter you have tonight, the peace of this moment, the opportunity of rest. 3. Begin to engage with your imagination now. Imagine yourself in a beautiful farming community, far away from all that you know. It is cozy here, it is safe, and you are welcome. 2. Feel into your body one more time now. And just let go of any residual tension or anything you're holding on to. Your body has worked hard for you today. It deserves rest. 1. Completely letting go now, as I tell you tonight's sleep story. The city you are staying in is rather lively, and there's a morning market. Merchants with wagons stocked full of exotic goods call out to passers-by, trying to entice them to browse their wares. The sounds of bartering and conversation, mixed with the aroma of fresh, baked bread and pastries, fill the narrow cobblestone streets as you go about your morning stroll. Near the center of the merchant square is a wooden message board. You stop to observe the advertisements and posters. One is a handwritten flyer featuring a drawing of a quaint village which catches your attention. You read the message, realizing it's a call for help to a small town on the outskirts of the city called Maple Leaf Meadows. The flyer details that an overgrown homestead is being offered in exchange for assistance in restoring the town after a tornado blew through a month prior. Immediately, the offer intrigues you, having been itching to experience something new. Maybe a fresh start in a small town is just what you need. As you consider the flyer, a tall man with midnight black hair approaches you. He is fairly young and is clearly a merchant, as he is wearing exotic robes from faraway lands. A golden amulet hangs around his neck, and rings adorn nearly each one of his fingers. He offers you a kind smile before speaking. Pardon my intrusion. I couldn't help but notice you checking out the flyer from Maple Leaf Meadows. Are you interested in assisting the town? You respond your affirmation, expressing your interest in the property and the small town. The man's smile widens as he bows his head in an introduction. My name is Bryce. I'm a traveling merchant, but I spend much of my time in Maple Leaf Meadows. I'll be heading there this afternoon with my wagon, if you would like a ride. You agree and promise to meet him near the city gates later that afternoon. Excited to start your new adventure, you head back to the inn where you're staying and pack your bags. You stop at the merchant square to purchase some provisions for the road before heading towards the castle gates to meet with Bryce. You see a small canvas-covered caravan pulled by a strong grey steed. It neighs and stomps the ground impatiently, ready to begin the journey. You spot the midnight hare of Bryce, sitting confidently at the helm of the wagon. He raises a hand and waves at you. The gemstones in his rings glint in the sun as he does so, and he flashes you a familiar, charming smile. After climbing into the passenger seat, Bryce urges his horse forward by clicking his tongue. The wagon jostles forward, the worn wheels creaking over the cobblestone road. As you pass through the gates, the guards stationed there give Bryce a nod of recognition. It's clear that Bryce is a familiar sight as he travels in and out of the city frequently, bringing news and goods from faraway places. The caravan moves steadily along the dirt road, leading away from the city. You glance back, watching as the great, towering walls of the city grow smaller and smaller until they are nothing more than a silhouette against the horizon. The road eventually leads into a forest full of towering pines. Their needle-covered branches form a canopy overhead that shields you from the afternoon sun. The gentle jostling of the wagon along the dirt road, along with the sound of the wheels turning and the steady pattern of the horse's hoof steps, creates a tranquil atmosphere, putting you at ease despite your excitement for your next adventure. Bryce makes light conversation with you, asking you questions about your life and telling you about the quaint town you're journeying towards. Maple Leaf Meadows might be a small town, but it's full of charm and kind people. The community is really strong there, especially after the tornado. Everyone is doing their part to bring the town back to its former glory. But it looks like they still need more help, which is where you come in, I suppose. Bryce explains as he guides the caravan through the forest. The bumpy road causes the items in the back to clink and clank together in a soothing rhythm. I imagine you'll want to speak with Alexandria once we arrive. She is the daughter of the Baron, but since her parents were called to the city, she was left in charge of Maple Leaf Meadows in their stead, Bryce continues. It's evening by the time you exit the forest. You see the fiery remains of the sun in the sky as it makes its final descent behind the mountains. Ahead is a wide river that winds through the valley. Its rushing water glints like diamonds in the warm glow of the sunset. The only way across the river is an ancient stone bridge. However, the bridge is blocked by some large fallen trees. Bryce releases a long sigh. I forgot that the tornado had blown down some trees in front of the bridge into town. We will have to navigate around it. I'm afraid I'll have to be the first citizen of Maple Leaf Meadows to ask for your aid, adventurer, Bryce says. And you agree to help. Bryce detaches his horse from the caravan and leads her by hand past the fallen trees, stepping over the large trunks carefully. Once they make it across the bridge, Bryce returns. We'll have to leave the wagon here, but we can take some of the items by hand, Bryce says, and begins to unload crates full of fabrics and trade goods, while you help to unload sacks of grain and flour. Together, you unpack the essentials from the caravan and haul the items over the fallen logs obstructing the bridge. Carrying what you can, Bryce leads you and his horse through the meadow after the bridge, following a stone path so ancient that pieces of grass and flowers are growing between the cracks. You are in awe at how untouched everything is here. The meadow is full of wild flowers and herbs, and in the distance you see some stone ruins overgrown with vines and leaves. The two of you cross another bridge, but this one is smaller and made of logs. From here, you enter the town center. The buildings are small and quaint, but each one is full of color and life. The old road transforms into neat cobblestone as Bryce leads you through the town center. You spot some of the townsfolk who greet Bryce with familiar smiles and offer friendly greetings to you. Already you can tell that they are very warm and welcoming people. As you pass various buildings, Bryce points out each one, explaining who lives there. The house with the purple door is June's apothecary. We call her the town witch, but I don't think she's actually cursed anyone. Although I recommend staying on her good side, he adds with a shrewd grin, before pointing to the building beside it with a green tiled roof. Next door is the office of the town doctor, Violet. She has a more modern approach to medicine than June. If you have an injury, I recommend going to Violet first. June might give you a potion that turns you into a frog, speaking from experience. Bryce frowns as he seems to recall the unpleasant memory. You press on, venturing down the wide streets. You notice some of the buildings seem to have taken some recent damage from the tornado, with missing roof tiles and broken shutters. Bryce leads you towards a great windmill. However, it appears to be out of service, as one of the wooden blades is damaged and is barely hanging on. It's been a few weeks since the tornado hit, but the town still needs a lot of work to get it up and running again. I imagine Alexandria will keep you busy with a lot of tasks to help fix up the buildings. Bryce nods to the stone building next to the windmill. This is the general store, and where I deliver my goods from my travels. The mill is next door, but it was damaged from the tornado, which is why I have to bring flour and grain from the city, Bryce explains, as you help him stack the crates and sacks of grain outside the store. The door opens, and an older woman steps out. Her golden blonde hair has streaks of grey and is neatly styled in a tight bun. She briskly wipes her hands on her apron as her sharp gaze pins down Bryce. At the sight of him, she places her hands on her hips in a display of impatience and narrows her piercing gaze. "You're late," she scolds in a firm and stern tone that suggests this isn't the first time Bryce had heard those words. He opens his mouth to retort, but she holds up a hand, stopping him in his tracks. She turns her attention to you, her demeanor immediately softening. She smiles warmly and extends a hand. "Pleasure to meet you, newcomer. I'm Nettie, owner of the general store." Her smile is genuine, but her sharp gaze takes you in, noting every detail about you. "I reckon you're here to fix up the old farmstead to the south. If you need any seeds or supplies, feel free to stop by." You thank her. She may have a stern exterior, but you get the feeling that she takes pride in helping others, and that she has a genuine and honest heart. Nettie gives you a curt nod before fixating her glare on Bryce. "What do you have to say for yourself, young man? You were supposed to be here hours ago. Hurry up and get these crates inside. I have paying customers waiting on your shipment." She scolds him like a mother would to a misbehaving child. But you catch the amusement behind her steely gaze. Bryce raises his hands in surrender, but a sly grin plays at the corner of his mouth. They clearly have a close relationship, and this was part of their typical banter. Bryce points up the stairs in the center of the town that leads to a grand manor. "Alexandria's office is in the manor. She'll give you the directions for the farmstead. You go on ahead. I think I'll be stuck here for a while," Bryce explains with a mischievous smile before hauling the crates into the store. You wave goodbye to Bryce and Nettie before heading towards the grandiose stone manor. The building towers over you with an intricate facade that has clearly stood the test of time. The massive oak doors are already propped open once you arrive, a silent invitation inside. As you enter, the utter craftsmanship leaves you breathless. Your footsteps echo on polished marble floors, which reflect the violet hue of the sky that shines in through high, arching windows. gilded vases full of vibrant seasonal flowers sit at every corner, their aroma filling your lungs as you inhale deeply. In the center of the grand foyer is a sweeping oak staircase that splits at a landing into two flights that curve up towards the second floor. You announce yourself after a moment, and a man's voice calls back from the top of the landing. "Hello?" The voice is soft and curious. You glance up to see a man leaning against the balcony railing. His ivory robes flow elegantly around him. He waves before pointing to a door to your right. "Alexandria is in there. You can head on in. I'm her brother, Elias," he says casually, which puts you at ease in the opulent manner. You thank the man before knocking on the door to Alexandria's office. A voice invites you in, and you open the door to see an organized office. A large mahogany desk dominates the center of the room that's brimming with stacks of papers and files. Ceiling-high bookshelves line the walls, containing records and files binded together. Standing over the desk is a young woman with long, strawberry blonde hair and elegant pink robes. She smiles at you as she puts down the notebook in her arms. "Welcome to Maple Leaf Meadows. I imagine you found us through the message I posted in the city. My name is Alexandria. It's a pleasure to meet you." You introduce yourself, shaking her hand and confirming that you are there from the flyer and interested in the homestead. Alexandria grins excitedly. "That is excellent news. However, I should warn you that the farmstead is in a state of disrepair. No one has lived there for many years, and it has become overgrown with time. It will be some work, but you are not alone in your endeavor. In exchange for your help to restore our town to its former glory, the farmstead is all yours, and the townsfolk will be happy to assist you in any way they can." Shortly after, Alexandria and Elias take you south through the town and over a winding river to the homestead. Alexandria tells you that you have the freedom to make it your own and name it whatever you like. She explains that the neighboring farm is owned by Harold, who knows everything there is to know about ranching and can help you to get started with having animals and livestock on your farm. You observe the farmstead, which is acres and acres of wild, untamed foliage. Amidst the tall grass, swaying in the night breeze, is a small stone cottage, worn down but resilient. The wooden door gives a groan of protest as you push it open, revealing a sparsely furnished room. A layer of dust covers the lopsided table and wrought iron bed. Without hesitation, Alexandria and Elias roll up their sleeves on their exquisite robes and begin dusting off the furniture. You pick up a broom and clear the cobwebs in the corners and sweep away the years of dirt and dust. After cleaning the bed and mattress, Elias brings fresh linens and bedding. Not much time passes before the place is transformed, renewed with life. With some chopped wood you found near the cottage, you make a fire in hearth, which brings everything together in a warm, cozy ambience. Satisfied with the work, you bid the two siblings good night, grateful for their help. You look around the quaint room. The warm glow from the fire dances along the plain walls. The place definitely has potential, and you are already imagining how you will restore and decorate it. You slide into the creaky bed and envelop yourself in the plush blankets that Elias gifted you. You fall asleep to the crackling of the fire, and with thoughts of the upcoming adventures you will have in Maple Leaf Meadows. The next morning, you awake full of energy to start the new day in your new home. You open your door to see a welcome basket left in front of the cottage. Inside are fresh fruits and vegetables and some eggs. Attached is a note from the neighbor, Harold, welcoming you to Maple Leaf Meadows. Accompanying the basket is a garden hoe from the local blacksmiths and some seeds from Nettie. Your heart warms at the thoughtful gifts from the people in the town, even from those that you haven't even met yet. You get to work after filling up on some of the fresh produce from Harold's basket. Using the garden hoe, you till a small patch of soil outside the cottage. After finding a small wood chopping station beside the house, you take the rusty axe to clear some of the logs and fallen trees, creating a wood pile to use for crafting and making fires. You spend the day preparing the land and planting seeds. Before you know it, it's already late afternoon. You wipe the sweat from your brow and appreciate all the work you have completed. The small plot of soil, now tilled and full of seeds, promising a bountiful harvest. Already you are planning on what you can build with all of the wood and stone you've harvested from the land. Perhaps a chicken coop for eggs, or a small barn to have cows for milk. The possibilities are endless as you picture your life here in Maple Leaf Meadows. You hear someone call your name from behind, interrupting your daydream. It's Alexandria, waving at you as she crosses over the bridge. She approaches you, her lavish pink dress billowing in the wind. She is with her notebook, which never appears to leave her grasp. I just came to check on how you're settling here at your new farmstead. From the looks of it, it seems like you know exactly what you're doing, she says, gazing out appreciatively over the land. I know you've already worked hard today, but I came to ask you for a favor, Alexandria pleads, her blue eyes hopeful. It's the bridge in the eastern meadows, as I'm sure you saw when you arrived in town. It's completely blocked by fallen trees from the tornado. I've gathered some volunteers from the town, but we still need an extra set of hands. Could you lend some of your time? Pesco, the owner of the inn, promises a hearty meal for everyone as compensation. You agree, happy to help clear the bridge, and Alexandria smiles earnestly. You follow her back through town, and then towards the eastern meadows, where a small group of townspeople are already waiting. You recognize Bryce and Elias, but there are two others there that you haven't met yet. A burly man with long graying hair approaches you. Despite his intimidating size and stature, he has a soft voice and kind brown eyes. He shakes your hand. Name's Harold. I'm your neighbor to the west. I trust you enjoyed the welcome basket I sent you. If you need any ranching help, I'm your guy. You thank him before a petite young woman with chocolate brown hair comes up to you. Hello, newcomer. I'm Ramona, the chef at the inn. If you need a new recipe or a warm bowl of soup, feel free to stop by any time, she says in a cheery voice that matches her energetic demeanor. After the introductions, you and the team of volunteers form a plan and begin clearing the bridge. You help Ramona clear the branches and stones that litter the path, while Harold, Bryce, and Elias work together to chop up the fallen trees into the sections before hauling them away. Despite the hard work, you find yourself having a great time with the townsfolk, laughing and sharing stories with one another to pass the time. Before you know it, dusk has turned the sky a dusty rose color. As you help Harold move the last section of the tree, you and the team take a moment to examine the stone bridge, finally clear of any obstruction. Bryce heads to the town stables and returns with his grey horse, hooking her up to the caravan that he had to leave behind the day before. Everyone claps and cheers as he brings the caravan over the bridge, a display of their hard work paying off. Alexandria writes something down in her notebook before looking up. That's a wrap, everyone. Thank you so much for all of your hard work. As promised, a home-cooked meal is waiting for you all at the inn. You hadn't realized how hungry you were until Alexandria mentioned home-cooked meal. You eagerly follow everyone back through the town to a grand 3-story building. Inside the inn is an open space full of tables and chairs, already full of townspeople who are eating, drinking, and reveling in each other's company. At the center of the room is a great stone hearth that stretches up beyond the balcony. A large cast iron pot hangs over a roaring fire. Upon closer inspection, you see that it's vegetable soup simmering, releasing a heavenly aroma throughout the room. Ramona appears at your side with an empty bowl. and scoops out a serving of the soup before handing it to you. As you go to sit with the rest of the team, Ramona fills more bowls before serving it. You eat and revel in the company of the townsfolk. People introduce themselves to you and offer their help with anything you should need: blacksmithing, fishing, cooking, and even digging for archaeological artifacts. Laughter and voices fill the room as stories are shared and memories are made. You find that you are falling in love with Maple Leaf Meadows more and more with each passing moment. That night, you return to your farm full of delicious food and still buzzing from the warm conversations. However, you release a long breath when you enter your cottage and waste no time in making a fire in the hearth before preparing for bed. You climb under the blankets, making yourself cozy beneath their weight. You haven't been in the town for very long, but you already have a sense of belonging here. You can picture a future here, with a great farm full of crops and barns filled with animals, so you can play your part to contribute to your new community that you found by just being open and letting yourself be gently guided by kind and reassuring suggestions. And now you fall into a deep, restful, rejuvenating sleep.